I was born and raised in County Durham in a little village called Easington. This 2,000 people, and I would say the area was run by kids. Up there, there's nothing to do. Like really, as kids, there's no youth centres, there's no activities going on. So we just have to make do with what we had. Because we were kids and we didn't know any better, we loved to cause havoc. We loved to be rebellious. The whole in by 7, but you sneaking in at 9:30 as 11-year-olds, as 9-year-olds. You know what I'm saying? I used to hang around with the older kids because they were always the most rebellious. So what we would do is passing by cars, we'll throw snowballs at it, try to get it to stop, and as soon as it stopped, we'd run away. We'd throw them out windows, and you hear the old ladies, "What you doing?" And they were like running, having a laugh. And I think one of my best memories up there of being rebellious is when we snuck into my primary school, and we was looking through the windows and we saw old teachers, and we'd knock on the windows and then we'd crouch down after we knocked on the windows, and that was probably one of my best memories because there's nothing to do up there, man. There's nothing except from just cause havoc and be rebellious. So that's what we made do with what we had at the end of the day. Life was fun up there, man. It wasn't it wasn't good, but it was fun.
Is one of my friends from secondary school, Carter. This is when I was maturing a bit, so we didn't really do anything that much. Yeah, my other friend Dylan and Brandon. Obviously, I met him in secondary school, but I've known Dylan since little. Since knee high, I've known Dylan. And then obviously you got Connor there, Cameron and Russell. Obviously, Cameron is the main man, so it was me, Cameron and Dylan back in the days of primary school, and that's when we used to be the most active.
Job opportunities up north are literally slim to none. If you don't mind working in crisp factories and meat factories and meat, that's all right. Go and live up there. But personally, I didn't want to work in a factory. And I had this neighbour that would always come back with just bags and bags of crisps. And obviously, that's a good thing about working in a factory. But I personally couldn't see myself in a factory packing up stuff and sending it away. Just wasn't the goal of life, really. Well, the reason I moved to London is that, when you grow up, you realise that there isn't much opportunities in such a unpopulated area, and there just wasn't much going on. And I had family in London, so I thought, you know what, it's about time for change. It was time for change, and so I thought that is how I'm going to change. Moving to London, didn't have an idea, just had a goal of just getting qualifications and just being more employable because I was thinking about that because I had a very rough upbringing, so I had to start clogging my mind of, okay, what's next, how can I provide for my family, and just staying up there wasn't the end goal.
Cannot believe you moved to London, Mara. Must be prop belt away.
Yeah, man, it's one of my friends, obviously. As soon as I moved to London, one of my good friends. Very diverse down here. You got like different cultures, different religions, different races, and then up there, it's all just the same religion, same race, same everything. Like everybody is just a working class white British person, and it's different down here. That's one of the main reasons I wanted to move to London, is because I wanted to be part of the multicultural.
78 to Nunhead.
People, they put the northern people in a category of racist and scum, and to be honest, they're just all uneducated about subjects. They don't know what life is like for others except from their own selves. That's why with Brexit, they just all voted to leave because they don't know other way. Like the propaganda of Brexit was enough to like reel them in, fish them in. What Conservatives said at first about leaving the EU was they stuck their mind to it. When they said that we're gonna deal with Brexit. I mean, we're gonna deal with illegal immigration. We're gonna control immigration. We're gonna put this money into the NHS. That's what they needed to hear. Because there's nothing else running up there. They're all pretty much jobless because there's no opportunities. They need the NHS. The only jobs up there that are taken by, immigrants are the doctors and the food places. They're all British first, and you know what they see as British first is different to what other people see as British first. They see white, strictly white as British first, because there's a couple of people that, all right, you people need to get kicked out. But the thing is, they were born here, but that's what they don't realize. Their minds, they're like I said, they're uneducated about multiculture, and that's just the way it is. There is no black people there. There is no people from the Middle East there. It's all white people. That's what makes it very uneducated, because they're not around black people. They're not around Asian people. How you become racist up there is, I think, is the influence of adults onto children, and then it keeps on going on and on and on. So I was very nervous when I first moved to London. When I did say to my friend, "Oh yeah, I'm moving to London," one of my friends were like, "Did you know that everything that goes on down there?" I could say this little story here. When I lived up there, I didn't like to admit that I came from up there. So all my friends from up there actually think I come from London. Because my mum sounds Cockney, like she's a proper Cockney. So I told everyone that I come from London. And then my nickname was Gangster. That's what everyone called me up there, Gangster. And then my sisters, when I was walking past my friends, I was like, "Why is everyone calling you Gangster?" I was like, "Oh, I don't know." But it's actually because I told them I came from London. Everyone's the same, everyone's doing the same, everyone looks like they're on the same journey. But yeah, the thing is, down here, everyone is different, you know. You got people that want to be doctors, you got people that want to do business. Up north, there isn't no people that want to do business. Everyone's just looking at cars and all that. Everyone wants to be a car mechanic up there. That's why the colleges up there, car mechanic courses, they have to do a lot of them. But yeah, that's the difference. When we moved down here, it was just about our housing situation. When I say we, it's because me and my mum was the one that moved down here, and we just wanted to sort out everything first. So it wasn't really much thought of what I was going to do in the future. It was more like, what am I going to do there and then? So it's crazy how life has changed from, you know, living in such a white area, living in such a area populated by white people, to then moving to London, moving to Peckham, and being the only white kid on the estate. I didn't feel out of place because obviously I was made welcome by, you know, the other kids. I'd always go out and kick the football with them. I don't see colour. Well, obviously I do see colour. I'm not colourblind, but I just don't see people. I see people as people, and that's what the estate was about, and that's how they saw me, because the estate I live in is very populated by kids as well. So it wasn't like that. It was a bunch of adults. It was kids, and we just all played. And you know, it wasn't. I didn't really see anything as different. I was still kicking the ball. Not gonna lie, they are kind of better at football than my friends up north. But you know, let's not. Let's. They might tell me off about that. Sorry, not that good at football. But yeah, yeah, it's very different. I think it's easier to make friends down here than it is up there, because the thing is, where I come from, my village, there's only one school in the village. There's only one primary school and there's only one secondary school. Now, people from all different areas came to this one secondary school, because even that secondary school is the only secondary school in County Durham, which is amazing. But it just tells you a bit about the population there. People would make friends at school, rather than down here. The way I make friends down here is I go out and I play football, and you know, I have to go out and actually communicate with people rather than in school where you're forced to communicate with people. And that's the difference. My friends up north, I think they miss me more than I miss them. Literally, I remember getting a video about first year, second year. I moved to London, and I was like, "Oh, I know you're missing up here." I wasn't really missing nothing up there, but you know, I was like, "Oh yeah, I can't wait to see you." Yeah, I was like, "Nah, mate." Well, like I said, everyone up north is really on the same wave, and they want the same thing, and they all do things the same, and it's like robots, you know, going down the road, you know. Not gonna lie, it's not a bad thing, but no one sticks out like a sore thumb up there. I've noticed whilst being up there, everyone's doing the same stuff, but down here, people want to go on different journeys and do different things, and so right, because down here, it's more opportunities. Like I said, up there isn't many opportunities, so it kind of just leads. I think up north, you're forced to go down one path, and down here, there's different paths that it sprouts out and that you can go down.
So this is where I live, right here, and I got to say I love it, man. I love it.
Adam, where are you now? Is Layla with you? Come quick then. Everyone's gone to mosque.
Layla hasn't been in school for a few days now. I've tried talking to her, but she just won't talk.
What do you mean?
It's like she's not herself anymore. She hasn't said a word. What can we do for her?
Look, I don't know.
Layla! Why are you still in the toilet? Hurry up! You lot are not even meant to be here.
I can't go. I can't see Aisha like that.
Why?
Look, we have to go.
Why does this matter to you?
What?
All this. Religion.
What are you on about?
I mean, not to offend you or anything, but is it forced? Because I don't understand. How does it even help you?
I've grown up like this. I find comfort knowing everything that happens for a reason. It's God's plan. He knows best.
This is his plan. Where is she now then? Why is Aisha not here?
She's in a better place, inshallah.
And where's that?
Paradise.
So, like heaven?
Yeah, if it's God's will.
You call this God's will? If there was a God, why did they let her die? If there was a God, she'd still be here.
If you were there, then maybe she would still be here. You were her boyfriend.
And you were her brother. Where were you?
Hurry up, Layla!
Adam, what's the matter?
I can't breathe.
Do you have asthma? Do you want paracetamol?
Just give me a sec.
Are you okay?
I just miss her so much.
She's in a better place. She'll be looking down on us right now, telling us to get ourselves together. You know how bossy she used to be. We have to say goodbye.
Is everything alright?
Better. Are you okay?
I think so.
Cab's here.
Come on, let's go.
We end today's show with the link between climate change and meat consumption.
One suggestion by the UN Climate Panel is to eat less meat and more plant-based food.
Cutting down on meat and dairy and switching to a plant-based diet can help fight climate change.
On the heels of a series of damning reports that say if humans don't act now to halt climate change, the results will be catastrophic.
I'm a 16-year-old vegan who wasn't always a vegan. I found out about the environmental impact that happens when you eat a lot of meat, specifically when you overconsume, which is what we were basically doing in our household. And we didn't even think that we were overconsuming in a way. But when I realized it, I was like, whoa, wow, this is a lot of meat. And there was a lot going on around like the environment, like protests and such, and I was thinking, you know, how can I make a difference in a sense? And you know, on Instagram you always see, oh, veganism this, veganism that, and I was like, you know what, I'm not gonna be vegan straight away. Despite trying, just didn't happen. But I decided not to give up on pursuing a plant-based diet. So you know, I was like, I'm gonna go pescatarian. Then I went pescatarian for a couple months. Then I went vegetarian for like a year. And 6 months ago, I decided to turn vegan. So I just took my time with it. It wasn't an overnight change, and it couldn't have been despite my efforts, because when I tried to go vegan, I felt sick, weak, and I feel like that was because I was very uneducated on how to be vegan and still be healthy. But giving myself that 2-year process really helped me ease into the diet now. Since then, I've never felt better. So a lot of people think vegan/meat-free diets aren't accessible, and to an extent I guess that is true, but I recently just went to a store a couple minutes ago and I saw a big range of more meat-free, dairy-free products, which are, you know, accessible in their price, and I think the innovation is coming because the range just keeps on going. So yeah, I think we're gonna get our own aisles soon, you know? I'm looking forward to it. But today I'm going to be making a meat-free mince and pasta. Disclaimer, I am not a professional chef. I don't really cook that much. I'm more of a takeaway kind of gal, but I will be cooking for you today just to show you how easy it is. We all know that climate change is a big issue which threatens our very existence. And I think we have to recognize the role that the meat industry and dairy industry plays in that, and that being the mass production of cows and how that then emits greenhouse gases which are destroying our ozone layer and such. And that's huge. It's just simple knowledge like that, but it's huge and it's having a massive impact. However, we really do need to realize that that alone is not the main polluting factor. I mean, we have the oil industry, we have the fast fashion and such, but it's something which we have control over as consumers. And I think a lot of the options, whether that be fake meat or just more vegetables within your diet, are quite healthy for you anyway. They're quite beneficial, and sometimes I think the pricing has decreased now, so it should be a lot more accessible. So I just think it's becoming slowly through like vegan cooking, and you have like the vegetarian butcher and whatnot. It's slowly becoming, to me, a no-brainer in a sense. So I think people should give it up because it's something which we have control over as consumers, while we might not necessarily have the most control over who is doing what in our government and such, despite the fact that it's democracy and such. So a lot of us as young people are participating in the strikes and whatnot, but we don't feel as though any change is being implemented. However, by me personally, when I was vegan a couple months ago, I didn't see much options. But since then, there's been a lot more options, and that to me suggests that there's, you know, decreasing value in eating meat, or I noticed that they're stocking it less, for instance, and that in itself is having an impact on the environment. So I think that's why people should consider it. Initially, my dad was very supportive because he didn't know that I was going vegan. He didn't know that was like the end goal. He just thought I was going pescatarian or whatever. But he was like, oh, okay, you know, do you? You know, you're like 15 at the time, you know, explore, live life. That's kind of how my dad parents anyway. But yeah, so it wasn't such a big deal. My brother just took the mick, really. But it was never a thing as though like, oh, I'm going to antagonize you because you're vegan or whatever. But my dad just, like, he'll show me articles about veganism that come out, like, recently, the guy who was claiming that veganism is a religion, and he'll, you know, jokingly point at it and whatnot, just to get me riled up, because, you know, he likes to have fun with it, as does the world, I guess. I feel like vegan, just as a word, has been misconstrued in a way. Like, a lot of people associate it with just being strictly, you know, devoid of animal products, animal interaction in a sense. So it's been quite radicalized in the way it's, you know, perceived in the media, the way it's presented and such. So a lot of people don't feel very attracted to it as a diet, as a lifestyle, almost as a community. And you have a lot of vegan hubs where you have these animal rights activists who are very passionate and sometimes go to a lot of extreme measures. And I feel like the generalization of those vegans, I feel like it's the same with feminists, for instance. You always see the most radical feminists in the media and such. So once again, the meaning is misconstrued. But because of that kind of reputation, that stigma, it's almost a white middle class sort of thing. I mean, if you look at the products that are sold, or like the shops and the stores, they're really expensive, and it's because the labeling says vegan, and you think, oh, it's organic, it's this, and it just, a lot of working class people such as myself don't feel as though that's something they can actually have, a lifestyle they can have, because the pricing suggests otherwise. But I think, top tip, that things that are labeled vegan is for marketing, really. Like, there are a lot of products that are already vegan, they're just not labelled as such. And I feel like that's something which I, as a working class person, have found, is that a lot of things are kind of already accessible to you. It's just that they don't have the wording and the branding, which in a way is a good thing because you can just kind of slide through. A lot of people worry that vegans don't consume enough protein, that we don't consume enough like calcium and things like that. And I think it's the same as you would have if you were a meat eater. It's just you've got to think about what areas you're missing out on. I used to take tablets, but I don't like the idea of taking something which is manufactured, which I can find elsewhere. So I always take things which are fortified. So for instance, my soy milk is fortified. Any kind of cheese products that I use, which are vegan cheese, by the way, are fortified. So I feel like companies are already taking that into consideration a lot of the time. So they will fortify what needs to be fortified. So I think that's how I maintain a balanced diet. But other than that, I have my 5 a day. A lot of people, and this is a big misconception, think that you can exclusively get protein from meat. And I think that is just complete and utter nonsense. And I think science has my back here on this. Point being that you can get a lot of protein from plants, from beans, from lentils, from what they call legumes, things like that. And I think that is just a big misconception. And I feel as though that's why a lot of people feel discouraged in a way to pursue like a vegan or plant-based diet. It's because they think they'll be malnourished and without protein. The only thing that I think I would miss, it's not necessarily the meat itself, but it's the life that was associated it, and the fact that I was a lot more comfortable. I could just go anywhere and just know there'd be something on the menu for me. I wouldn't have to explain myself constantly and justify my actions whenever I sit down at the dinner table. You know what I mean? It's a constant battle in the sense that I have to explain myself to a lot of people, including my family members, which they, might disagree with and such. So, yeah, that's the only thing that I would miss. But other than that, I think it's going quite well for me. So, no regrets here. The advantages are that I am reducing my meat consumption and just through that, like the emissions and such. So it feels like I'm actually doing something for the planet. When that contrasts with what's going on with like, the strikes for the future and whatnot, where we feel as a youth that the government aren't doing enough. So it gives me a lot of, I suppose, satisfaction in the sense that I feel like I'm doing something despite the fact that the government aren't. And I'm not saying like I'm a goddamn angel because I've turned vegan. It's just saying that I tried in some way to kind of reorganize my life to try and help the planet in a way. So I know that I've almost tried everything I can do. And, that's not just with veganism alone, because a lot of people treat veganism as though it's the solution to climate change when it's a multifaceted issue where veganism is only in part a possible solution. I'm not even saying that it's, bang on the solution to climate change. It's just a way to help at this present moment. But it's just, for me, the advantage is feeling as though I've done something. Also, I just feel a lot more healthier. I can't necessarily explain it. I think it varies from person to person. I think in the future, quote me on this, in the future, I think barely anyone will be eating meat. Just say, that when this interview happens, you on the ground when it happens, okay? Just know I'm giving you information prior to the time. I'm reminiscing on the future before it's even happened, because I'm telling you, it's going to happen. Can you taste the difference?
No, not at all.
No?
Not really, no.
I feel like with the mince you really can't tell the difference, but...
I think it actually tastes better than meat.
It does?
Yeah.
In what way?
I think it's got more flavour.
I think that for me, being vegan has been about reclaiming our control and our right to choose and make choices for a better world, whilst in keeping with the fact that a lot of people even struggle to have food on their table. So even in the pursuit of climate justice, we must be intersectional and understand the difficulties that others might face, because it's a collective movement and we need to solve it together.